Hi everyone, this is Lisa Baudouin. Welcome to Lisa's chat room. Yes, it's December 9th, 2022. It's finally snowing. I think we've only had one snowfall this year. I'm just going to be looking at the indoor garden because of the weather, and you'll probably hear my wash machine, so sorry about that. But so I'm going downstairs, and what I did was I put up this white poster board here on the outside of the indoor garden because it helps to reflect the light going inside. I think that's really important. Hopefully you've watched some of the videos of me starting. I've had this now for a couple of years. I had a really horrible setback because I had a lot of plants and I was doing very well, but I had a lot of fruit flies and I didn't know what to do. So since then, one of the things I need to mention here is get a fan for your greenhouse. It will make all the difference in the world. I have absolutely no fruit flies in here at all, and I just brought this in. The aloes have been in here. They're doing very, very well. That being said, I want to stop again, and I want to say I'm not an expert in anything. I'm just a novice, and I'm trying to share the information, good and the bad, of what I've learned, what I haven't learned, what I need to learn, the mistakes I've made, so that maybe you can kind of learn from them too. And I'm not an expert, so whatever I share with you, you must do so at your own risk and peril, okay? I did get these shelves done, which is awesome, but I still need to make something here. This light here, I got this at Habitat for Humanity store that's around the corner from me, and I got it for like $5. Now, I do keep the greenhouse at a steady 70 degrees. That's my little heater. Again, if you're going to heat and use electricity, you do that at your own risk and peril. You can't see them. They're on the other side. But I use surge protector extensions and whatnot so that if something happens, then hopefully that will go on. And also, too, I'm very, very careful. I don't put my heater above anything. It's just by itself. It's a pretty small space heater. I've had it for many years. It's a good one. I can set it at different temps. So I can set it at 70 and it'll just come on as needed. So that's another thing. You're going to need to have heat in your greenhouse. Now, you might not need a heater per se. Light could bring heat too. And it does. It brings a lot of heat. Like my hand right here, I can feel lots of nice heat up there. So I've got different bric-a-brac lights that I use. And I did have a real nice one here too. And that one, for some reason, didn't work anymore. I bought that at Habitat too. I was kind of disappointed. Now I've just got that up there. And slowly I will get more as time goes on. The other thing I wanted to talk about before I forget is I have soil plants. And I'm going to be doing hydroponic plants too. This is the stuff for the hydroponic plants. And basically I'm just using mason jars that are painted with black glass paint, and they're pretty inexpensive. And the thing is I didn't do them all at once. I did a little at a time. I can wash them and use them over and over and over as long as I need. All right. Then I also have these little cups and these cups. I used a wood burning iron or soldering iron to do this. I did it outside because it really smells. And then I made the hole slightly bigger at the bottom. So the hydroponics, going back, I've got the jars, the glasses, I have the rocks. I also use this. It's just yellow masking tape. I really like this tape. It's lasted quite a while. I just use it to write the names on things, and you'll see that in a minute. I have regular Scotch tape, scissors, paper toweling, and then I'm going to show you how I do my cultivating here. So here I've got where these have germinated. These are organic iceberg, and these are just other types of lettuce. Now, I've never grown iceberg before. I'm a little, I'm just unsure because I've never done that. These I've done, and they work out just fine. But you can see that in the cotton ball, it's germinated just perfectly fine. And what will happen is it'll push through. So these little containers, I buy a lot of stuff at Walmart, Menards, Home Depot. But this is just a cupcake holder from Walmart. Good idea is if you're going to buy something like this and you take it over to someone's party, then just ask them, say, hey, can I keep the container? And you take it home. Wash it off as good as you can. Make sure you try to get as much as this, label stuff off, and you're good to go. So what I do, you can see, I've got the date, the name, and then usually I will put, if it isn't lettuce, and sometimes even if it is, I will put when I'm going to harvest it, or about how long it takes to harvest it, just to get an idea. Like, for example, these are beets that I just I just planted, all right? So the good thing is about these cotton balls, these are 100% cotton. The one thing I should have done, which I will do in the future, is I will actually cut these into quarters. You can't do it when it's wet. I tried it. It's not going to work. But I think if you did it into a quarter, it'll work just as well as if you used a huge cotton ball like this. So, yeah, that's a really great idea. I think I got the cotton balls at Walgreens for about under $4. So I used organic. Okay, so there's no chemicals or anything like that in there. And, you know, cotton is an organic product, so that's really great. Again, here, these have germinated. These have not. But I'm going to leave these in here until they get a little bit stronger. All right. Just for demonstration, though, I wanted to show you. This is how they sit in the jar. So it's a little more difficult with the iceberg because I'm not quite sure how it grows out of the jar. I have other lettuces and they just grow out looking kind of, you know, like almost like a fern type thing. What iceberg lettuce, I'm not quite sure how that's going to look, like a ball or what. And so that's why that's up really high. But usually what I do is if I'm doing an other type of lettuce, I start with one of these and I just put a little bit of rock in there and then I put that in and I let it grow a little bit and then I'll just keep putting rock around it till it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. You want to make sure that the water that you have in here, when you fill it with water, I fill it to about here. You know, once it starts to really grow and starts to root, I get it to about here. You want to make sure you leave some air in that containment, and that's what these holes are for, is to bring air into to oxygenate not just that part of it, but the water. So you want to make sure that that's there, and then, so I fill it to about here, right? And these get heavy, so you know, I like it. It's fine. It's perfect for me. And actually, I think they look really pretty on a shelf. And then having this is nice because you're not hurting or touching the actual glass. And you can take these off and reuse them. Like, for example, I can just take this and I can just stick it right on there if I wanted to. I would say also, though, if you're going to do this, use Scotch tape too, because this stuff actually will come off. That tape won't stay on there and it's a pain. So, but here, this is what you do. And then, so I've just got this sitting here for now. And actually, I don't like to put it in there too early because these cotton balls will dry out really quick. So you're going to have to keep them wet. And I have them soaking wet. They're soaking wet. There is lots of water in there. I'll come down every day and I'll make sure they're just, I mean, they are super wet. And they're perfectly fine. They seem to be thriving okay. I'm not having any problems. I think the problem is when they dry out and then they're lost. They just don't have that, they don't have that ability to start to root. So just keep them wet. And that's why I don't usually put them in here until they're actually big. But I just wanted to show you how I would do it. So for a different type of lettuce, I would put this down in there. And then, and as you can see, it's already starting to like take a root. Is this? Yeah. It's already starting to root through. Okay. So I would take it and I would put it down there and I would try to get that stuff down into one of those holes. But I would have rocks around it too. And then I would just put this on and then I would just, as it grows, I would let, you know, put a little rock, a little more rock and a little more rock as it gets tall. Again, I just don't know because these are not the same as a normal lettuce, or you know what I'm talking about. All right, so what else did I want to say? I also have I have fertilizer. I have plant food. Here's for my soil plant food. This is what I buy organic tomato and vegetable plant food, and then 364. And then I also buy, for the hydroponics, I buy the AeroGarden. The one negative thing I have to say about this is it's too bad they wouldn't have made this with a spill proof and a pouring type of cap, kind of like they do with the laundry detergents. When you take the cap off, there's a nice pour spout, because this is a pain. So an idea would be actually to put some into a jar that has some kind of a, I don't know, some kind of pouring ability in it, because it makes a mess. It does make a little bit of a mess there. The other thing I do is I put that into this here, right? So then I don't have to monkey around. And so this is all done. And I use a big, huge one. Really, seriously. For a while there, I don't know if you remember, I had this sitting out there. It just doesn't do the trick. This is nice for when the grandchild comes over and wants to help. But to do the job, I use the big one there, right? Let's see, what else did I want to say? Fan, lights. With the fan, I've had no fruit flies at all. I'm so happy because I was so depressed. I think that's why it took me such a long time to videotape again. It was like I went through all this trouble and I had flies everywhere, little tiny fruit flies. And now, none. Just by putting on a fan, just making it where they, they can't land is what is happening. Let's see, the other thing I want to talk about is bugs and spiders. So I really haven't had too many spiders or centipedes or anything like that, even in my basement in general, because I make sure that I clean my basement just like I clean any other part of my house. When I clean, I usually have like a routine, and I will go into one room and I will really, really vacuum, okay? But I also have a few things. So one of the things I have, I'm bringing you back into my music room. This is my music room. I remember, it's so cool when you do things yourself, because then you remember every single thing you've done, right? I mean, really. I remember painting all this. This was really bad. There was water coming in the corners because there were no downspouts on the house. So I put downspouts on right away. I cemented and sealed up the cracks and whatnot, and it's been so dry ever since. But I did all this. I did the windows, as far as it was there, but it just was a mess. So I made the curtains, and this is my little, this is the den. This is where the kids can go, or I can even go to come and play my music and practice. And I love that. This is also my office, okay? So here's my printer and all that stuff. And here, this is an interesting side bit. One of the ways that I help myself, because, I have the mental conditions, is by research, study, doing artistic things. And really, I'm going to tell you the secret here. It's not about raising your frequency. It's about widening your broadband, right? And I'll tell you more about that in other videos as I get further into the therapies for a better me. But it's about studying everything you can possibly study, especially things about the earth and physicality, mentality as well, other religions, languages, all these things. What happens is you just get a better sense of you, and it really does give you this wonderful feeling. So what this is, I made this about 5 years ago. This is called an astrological wheel. It's for the zodiac. And basically, this is the wheel. This part will be cut out right here. It's for my granddaughter. And then this part will be cut out. This goes underneath here, and then it spins. And so then you spin it this way. And what you see are the zodiacal signs throughout the night. I think it's so cool. And really, I had to do this in order to understand the zodiac. And now it's like, because it took me a while to get it in my head. Yeah, I understand as far as the 12 signs. And actually, I have so much information on that. I have playbook plans about everything and research. And that's one of the things, one of the major research. And what happens is you start to see that everything is connected. It's all connected. It's almost, it goes in, not out. It actually goes in and down and down and down. As above, so below. So anyway, point is, getting back to the spiders, what I do is, here I've got those jars. They're just garlic jars. And I just do a hole, drill a hole. You can put tea tree oil in there, or you can put lavender in there, or you can put peppermint. Spiders and centipedes hate that smell, right? So that's what the one way. The other way is just to make sure that you clean really, really good and vacuum up the spiders, but also what they eat, okay? Don't let flies and I get all them stupid potato bugs. So don't let them into your house. Make sure you vacuum them up right away, because if there's no food source, then there won't be any spiders or centipedes, all right? Moisture, water, anything like that, you want to make sure that you get rid of, all right? So here's my craft room, by the way. I still have the ceiling to put on in here, but this is just where I do all my crafts. I hand paint glass, and I think somebody wants me to do a video on my hand painted glass, but here's one of them. That's a vase I painted, and then I put the flowers in. So I hand paint glass, and then I also do I call these wire sun, what do I call them? I can't remember. They're wire sun, you know what I'm talking about. I'm getting tired. I've been on for 20 minutes here. Sun catchers, okay? That's what I do. And they're very, very pretty. They're very, very pretty. This one, I think I still have a little bit more to go. But isn't that beautiful? I do all that wire work. It's so pretty. Anyway, so point is, yeah, I built up this whole thing, and it didn't happen in a day. It's taken me a long, long time. A little bit every day. A little bit every day. Last thing I want to show you is my playbook for my garden. So this is my garden playbook. On the outside is my backyard, and I showed you the berm. This is what I call the forest. If I had my choice, I would live out in the country somewhere, like miles away from people, and I would be perfectly fine with that. As long as I can grow my own stuff, I would be okay. But I can't. I don't. I have, kids here, and I have to take care of the grandkids, and I want to be here for the grandkids and the kids. So I live in the city. So this is my little patch of forest, and that's why I call it the forest. Here I've got my carport, I've got my porch, I've got a barn here. This is where the greenhouse is, this is where the vegetable garden is going to be, and this is where the herb garden is going to be. And in this playbook are basically my studies on plants, right? pH balance, composting, different ways to do it, how to get rid of fruit flies, right? Number one, fan. Okay. And then here I've got different things that I'm trying, different things that I've tried, and different things I want to try. So I have decided that I am not going to plant things that, I wanted to at first plant everything. Now I just want to plant things that matter to me, that will help me as far as not having to buy them all the time, like lettuce, beetroot. I love beetroot. Green beans, I'll be planting them outside. Some things I won't plant in the indoor garden, and some things I will, and some things I won't. I'll plant outside. So I'm trying to figure out a way to plant zucchini inside. Zucchini is really tough because it has to be pollinated, and so does tomatoes. Here's my lavender. Okay, so you can tell that I have really taken time to find out, and it's fun. It's actually fun to do this, right? So point is, you should have a playbook, and the nice thing about it is, like here, I'll put a note on here. I'm going to put a stick-em on here, post it, and I'm going to write, from now on, I'm only growing small sunflowers because the squirrels and the chipmunks get to my sunflowers. The tomato bed, the dang chipmunks got into my tomato bed constantly. So from now on, I'm on the floor of the bed, like say this is the floor, I'm going to put wire mesh twice, or maybe even 3 times, 3 layers, because then they can't bite through it. Chipmunks will come up and come into the garden that way. Oh, there's nothing more frustrating than having this beautiful tomato and then seeing that there's like 3 bites out of it. So that is something that makes me angry. I might try to grow a bush tomato plant in here, not sure. The other thing I wanted to mention before I forget it is I have these little things that I put you on pause. I have these things. These are really nice also too to have in your basement and in your house. I have them all over the house. And then I also have a dehumidifier to keep things dry in the summertime. Another thing I might as well mention while I'm down here is I have like a little emergency bookshelf thing that I've created. Now this bookshelf was actually on the wall in the front room as you walk in to the right. I took it off. It was all wood. I took it and just kind of painted it white and put it in here. It fit perfect. And this is kind of like where I put all my sports stuff, but also too I've got water, toilet paper, distilled water. I'm going to be putting rations here just in case something would happen. That way I've got an emergency kit down here in the basement. I think that's really important to mention, by the way. So, but here I've got my dresser. This is just an old dresser I bought. It's actually 2 small ones. I put them together and I have all my stuff. It's really great to have something like this next to your garden, indoor, okay? Or if you have something outside next to your outdoor garden, because, or like somewhere in it where you have containment to put a bunch of stuff, because I have a lot of stuff in there, right? Then I have all my seeds and stuff. You don't want to have them getting light. You want to keep them in a cool, dry place. So then I have all my seeds here split by veggie and then flower, I think. Some of them are veggies over here. I also have, I'm all ready to go for my herb garden. I don't know where those are, but I'm all ready to go for that too, so that's cool. So anyway, that's it for today. I hope that it's kind of helped you. If it has, please let me know by giving me a like. Please subscribe and share with your friends and family. And then also too, any comments, questions, or concerns, please write something below in the comment section, okay? All right, with that, please stay safe and healthy, and I'll see you again next time in Lisa's chat room.